What's up everyone, and today I'm bringing a deck profile on my spellbooks. Or I guess more technically Spellbook Dogmatica. But either ways, let's get right into the video. First, I run 3 Spellbook of Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Prophecy adds a spellbook, pretty much all there is to it. Now I did have to kind of change a little bit about this deck because we can't really rely on Jowgen anymore. But we don't really need Jowgen, more so. I also run 2 copies of Dogmatica Ecclesia. If there's a monster spell summon from the extra deck on the field, you can summon Ecclesia from the hand. When Ecclesia is normal special summon, you can add 1 Dogmatica card from your deck to your hand. Most times you're going to be adding either the Maximus or the Punishment, but you definitely want the Maximus, which I play 2 copies of. Maximus is very important because that allows you to banish 1 fusion, synchro extra your link monster to special summon it. And then you can send 2 of your extra deck monsters to make your opponent send 2 extra deck monsters to the graveyard. So that's just gonna fuel your Shadal Schism. I also play 1 Flirterless. You control an extra deck monster. If there's an extra deck monster on the field, you can special summon it from the hand. Also runs a few hand traps with the Ash, Biru, and the 1 Veiler. Moving on to the spells, I run 3 copies of Spellbook of Judgment. Spellbook of Judgment is a very powerful spell. Basically, you want to activate this at the beginning of your turn, because every spell you activate, basically at the end of the turn, you can add 1 Spellbook card from your deck to hand equal to the number of spell cards activated. So if you activated 5 spell cards, then you can add 5 spellbooks, which is pretty cool. And then you can special summon 1 spellcaster monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of spell cards activated. Also run 3 copies of Spellbook of Secrets. Secrets basically just adds you a spellbook spell card. Or not really a spell card, but just a spellbook from your deck to your hand. Also run 3 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. Knowledge, you can send 1 spellcaster from your hand or face of field, or 1 spellbook card. Or no, you can send to the graveyard either 1 spellcaster monster control or 1 spellbook card from your hand or face of field, and draw 2 cards. So this is sort of like your draw power for the deck. Also run 3 copies of Fate. Fate, when it is activated, you can banish up to 3 spell cards from your graveyard, or up to 3 spellbook spells from your graveyard, and apply effects depending on the number of spell cards banished by this effect. 1. If you banish 1 spell card, 1 spellbook, you return 1 set spell trap on the field to the hand. If you banish 2 spellbooks, you can choose 1 monster on the field, change it to face down defense position or face up attack position. And if you banish 3, you can banish 1 card your opponent controls. So this is sort of like your interruption for the spellbooks. Also run 1 Spellbook of Master. Spellbook of Master essentially copies the effect of any of your spellbooks. I run 3 copies of Nadir's Servant. Nadir's Servant, you can send 1 monster from your extra deck to add 1 Dogmatica monster or Fallen Albets from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It has attack less than or equal to the sent monster. What you're going to be sending is your Shadal Cologne, because that allows you to search your deck for a Shadal spell trap. Next, we play 3 Upstart Goblin, basically just to give a little bit more deck thinning as well as work like counters for the Spellbook of Prophecy, or Spellbook of Judgment. I was thinking of a different card. Also run 1 Caught by the Grave, because a hand trap, if they ask your Judgment, that's not going to feel good. Moving to the traps, I run 1 Shadal Schism. Shadal Schism allows you to fusion summon on your opponent's turn by banishing fusion materials from your graveyard, which is really cool. And you're pretty much going to get that through your Maximus by sending, you can send 2 Shadals, or you can send Adates or a Guru, depending on what you're running in your extra deck. Also run the 1 Dogmatica Punishment. Dogmatica Punishment, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Send 1 monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster. And if you happen to send the other entity in a test, which also when it's sent to the graveyard can pop a monster, you essentially get 2 pops for the price of 1. And lastly, I also run 3 Infinite Impermanents. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 copies of El Shul Apollon. Apollon is the one that gives you access to the Schism, because if you send it to the graveyard, you can add the Schism to your hand. Also run 2 copies of Winda, and that's pretty much what you're going to be making off of the Schism, because Winda only allows each player to special summon 1 monster per turn. Also run 2 copies of Construct. I'd say this would be like the second option if we're not able to go for Winda, or if we want to push for a little bit more damage, Construct is going to be a better option. Also run 3 copies of Elder Entity Nitess, mainly for the punishment. And it's also a light you can send to the graveyard for construct if you don't want the if you don't have like a dark in the graveyard. I also run 1 Garura. Garura, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. So basically, sending that for costs, or you can send it off the Maximus to be able to draw a card. I do run some links in the form of Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep probably isn't going to come up too much, but it does have the ability to come up. If a fusion monster is summoned to a zone this card points to, you can special summon a level 4 from grave. Also run 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Lina, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Axis Code Talker to close out the game. That's it for my Spellbook deck. If you want to see combos and test hints, make sure to check out my Patreon. And as always, I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.